As American expectations for teens is slowly rising, teens are starting to face more and more challenges, from taking on advanced courses to trying to find jobs at an early age. It's just really stressful for some teens. And while some teens can handle it, some teens just can't handle the pressure. And I believe that that's what we're talking about. Hello, everyone. This is Malica Washington, and welcome to my podcast. Today I'm going to talk about a mental illness that is unfortunately stigmatized beyond belief, and I am joined by my good friend Deztany Clay.
Hi.
So you're a teen, of course, right? Like
yes.
you're in the same grade as me as all.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I are considered high-profile students, right?
Okay. Yes.
So how do you feel about this workload that us students are expected to complete and just be able to handle, while also trying to handle things in real life, trying to learn how to drive and things like that?
Mm-hmm. I say for myself, it is very hard, but anything can be accomplished by someone who actually wants to get to that point. Like for me, I never gave up because I wanted to go farther in things, even though it is a lot of pressure with the state test, also with schoolwork, and you're handling your own personal life. So it is very hard, but it's about what you want to be, what you want to become, and what's your strive.
Mm-hmm. So what would you give as advice to people who are struggling to balance all of that? I'm struggling to balance it myself. I'm trying to focus on my classes. Well, I used to, because they're over now. But yeah, I was struggling with that, and I couldn't figure out how to stay motivated and try to balance everything. So do you have any advice for those who are like me?
Yeah, that is really hard. That's another thing, to stay motivated to actually continue to do it. But my advice would be, I guess, just to look towards your future. What are you trying to accomplish? What do you want to be as an end result? And just to defy the odds overall, like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. You really should go against what people expect you to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, according to this study by Johns Hopkins Health Review, it says the odds of adolescents suffering from clinical depression grew by 37% between 2005 and 2014. Why do you think that is?
Well, because of the high standards that we're expected to meet now. We have to, and then with the test, SAT, ACT, determining what place we will be in college or something like that. Not only do we deal with academic and educational pressure, we deal with peer pressure and societal pressure.
Mm-hmm.
You're expected to be able to handle everything, and it can be overwhelming, it can be hard. So I definitely believe that statistic is true, and I have myself experienced it and also seen other kids experience it as well.
And I don't know if you mentioned this, and I'm sorry if you did, but another thing that kind of I think contributes to it is society expects teens to I'm pretty sure you already said it, just be able to handle all of that with the real life. And it's if you dare to express your feelings on certain things,
mm-hmm.
then it's all of a sudden it's just they're just being a teen, they're not doing anything that causes stress, because I've heard that myself.
Yeah.
And good Lord, does that hurt?
Yeah, from an adult's perspective, I don't like to say that they deal with more or that we deal with less. We're all on our own levels right now, and those levels bring about certain pressures that adults can't relate to. Because I hear my
mm-hmm.
grandmother and all the time say, as long as they can, add, subtract, and read, that was your passing grade.
Yeah.
Now we're expected to not only have passing grades, but pass these tests.
Mm-hmm.
We have certain requirements to even graduate. So it's a lot more pressure on us in this generation. But like I said, I don't like to say more or less pressure right now as adults and children, but we're all on different levels. So it's different pressures for us.
Mm-hmm. I just think it's really almost ignorant, how adults can just sit there and just say well, I mean, as long as you're able to do this, you're fine. You can't feel certain things, when really I wouldn't call us the most mature, but it's we're expected to grow up a lot faster, because this world, it expects people, expects teens to be on their toes about everything.
Right.
It doesn't, like there's no time to really be young. It's like see, that's my whole thing that really kills me, and why I wanted to talk about this so much. It's because like teens, like they're expected to not only be young but also be young adults, because that's that's what they're becoming. So how do you feel about that? Like just this idea of like oh, you need to go out and be young and have fun, but you also need to do all this stuff too. Like how do you feel with people with that sort of mentality?
It's kind of like contradictory to say that, you know, because we do, like you said, we do have to grow up fast. Not only, you know, even besides academic life, but your personal life. You don't know what people go through in their personal life. You know, you come to school and you're expected to do certain things, and if you don't do certain things, you're not where you're supposed to be, you know, and it's really hard for that. But you bring up something else, ignorance. I think definitely what puts us in a gap between adults and teenagers is ignorance. Some of us aren't educated on what they go through and how they deal with things, and then they're not educated on what we do and what we go through, because times are changing. Times have changed from when they were younger and we were younger. So ignorance is definitely another big thing that separates us, and why they can't understand us and we can't understand them sometimes.
Yeah, it's just kind of saddening to me, because like suicide rates are going up, and it's like
teenagers, that's so true.
Yeah, like it's not even just limited to teenagers. Like there are kids out here who are killing themselves.
Younger kids, elementary, middle school. That's so true.
And it's like, and people just think that, oh well, you know what? Just let kids be kids. You know, like no, that's
you can't. That's peer pressure too. You know, so many. Like the popularity of drugs now, alcohol, with the epidemics, everything like that. We have a lot to deal with that older people didn't have to deal with in their days. Or I won't even say that, theirs were hidden. Ours are out now. Yeah. You know, such as the LGBT community. Back then it was hidden. No one wanted to come out about it. You know, everything was in a closet, so to say. But now everybody is, out there and everything like that. And then you have our generation, we're known to accept it, but then you have the older generation that's putting pressure on them because they're like, we didn't have that back then. So how do you even supposed to address that? And that goes back to the ignorance of where it came from and how people get to that place.
Like it's just heartbreaking to me, just knowing that there are so many teens out there who want help, like who are almost like kind of pressed away from trying to get help, because like they're expected to be moody and stuff, and it's like their parents don't really accept their depression. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are some teens who do fake it. Yeah, of course. Or there are some teens who feel a moment of sadness, just like, am I depressed? Like, no, that's not depression. Right. Because according to the Mayo Clinic, people with depression, they can experience symptoms of like feeling irritated, lacking sleep, having increased appetite or decreased appetite, and just many other factors. And that has to go on for like a 2-week period or longer to really be classified as depression. Yeah. And that's kind of what, if I can just get a little personal, that's kind of what I was going through too. Like for like 3 weeks, I just couldn't do anything. Like it was just horrible. And I felt horrible because like I couldn't get anything achieved. Yeah. And so I tried telling my parents this, and they were just like, you just got to keep your head up. You just gotta focus on school and stuff. But just like, it's hard to do that when I'm stuck in this loop of like, I'm not doing anything and that's stressing me out. So it's like I try to do something, but like I'm not motivated. Yeah. It's just a painful cycle, and I really feel for the teens who have to go through that. Yeah, especially when you don't have anyone to talk to as well. If you can't, most kids, we could talk amongst each other, but we're just friends, and peers. But like we don't truly know what's going on with each other. We can just guess. Like how they say the difference between sympathy and empathy. It's like that. But with your family, you expect to go to them, and you expect them to say, okay, we're gonna help you with this and all that, and they kind of push you away because again, back to the ignorance, they don't understand. But then once you can't get support from your family, it's like, now what? Exactly. I totally understand that. Well, I guess this is really the end of the interview. Do you have anything else to say?
I don't, but yes. I just think that we should all try to educate ourselves on, not just teen depression, but, we should be able to, like, it's like a a line between us, in our generations. We should try to understand each side, and we should try to come together with that. So I just say stay educated. Don't speak on things unless you are educated about it. Don't speak on anything in ignorance, because that's when conflict comes from. Speak your mind, say your opinion, but try to respect both sides. That's it.
And that can be applied to so many things. And I guess all I have to say is, if you're a teen who's going through this sort of thing, please talk to someone, whether it's a parent, a teacher, a friend, anyone. Just make sure that they know your feelings on this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
This has been Malica. Have a nice day.